This family is happily posing for a portrait, but behind the photographer sits a black boy who was just taken in. Despite her husband's objections, the mom insists the boy join the photo. Michael is caught off guard and awkwardly stands behind Mrs. Toohey. The moment the photographer clicks the shutter, this massive young man feels the warmth of a family for the very first time. Michael is only 16, but he's already nearly 6'6". He weighs over 300 pounds, and one of his feet is bigger than a girl's head. He's always been withdrawn because his mother was lost to addiction. He never knew his dad, spending his life drifting. For years, he was like a football himself, tossed around between over a dozen foster homes. One night, he hears his foster parents screaming, complaining he eats too much, and telling him to leave. But the truth is, these foster parents only took him in to collect the checks. Michael was used to being on the streets. When he was hungry, he'd eat leftover popcorn from the trash. When he was tired, he'd sleep in the school gym. That is, until Mrs. Toohey came along and changed his life forever.
What is he wearing? It's freezing. What's his name again?
Big Mike.
Lee Ann's husband rolls down the car window and asks where he's headed. Michael is shivering from the cold and says he's going to the gym, but Lee Ann watches him walk the opposite direction and just can't let it go because everything Michael owns fits inside a plastic bag. So Lee Ann goes after him and asks why he lied. Michael looks like a guilty kid caught in the act. Lee Ann sees right through his stubborn pride. She glances back at her husband and son, and her mind is already made up.
Come on.
Where are we going?
Home.
Since the guest room is full of clutter, Lee Ann has Michael crash on the couch for the night. She tells him if he needs anything, just come find her upstairs. But once she's back in her room, the doubts start creeping in. A stranger from the rough side of town. What if something happens?
What's the big deal? It's just for one night. It is just for one night, right?
You don't think he'll steal anything, do you?
Lee Ann feels guilty for even having those thoughts, but she can't help worrying that Michael might do something unpredictable. The next morning, she nervously heads downstairs and discovers that Michael has already left, and the couch and blankets are folded perfectly. The sight stops her in her tracks. She's ashamed for ever doubting him and rushes out to ask Michael to stay one more day.
Where are you going?
I don't know.
Are you spending Thanksgiving with your family?
She puts together a huge spread. Collins hands Michael a plate without hesitation, but he's afraid of being judged for eating too much. So he only takes a bit of rice and some greens and sneaks a small piece of bread. While everyone lounges on the couch, eating and watching the game, Lee Ann suddenly notices Michael is the only one sitting at the table, quietly eating his Thanksgiving meal. So she turns off the TV and calls everyone to the table for grace. Collins reaches out her hand without a second thought. SJ quickly gestures for Michael to join in, and in that moment, Michael freezes, because no one has ever reached out to hold his hand before. Lee Ann is deeply moved. It's Michael who made this Thanksgiving truly meaningful. She looks him up and down and feels like something's missing. So she offers to take him shopping for some new clothes. But Michael, too proud to accept charity, insists he already has clothes and doesn't need any. They drive to the neighborhood where Michael used to live, but that's when he notices some street guys eyeing Lee Ann.
This is where your mother lives? Let's go get him. Who's gonna help you carry your clothes, Michael?
Don't get out the car.
Lee Ann glances outside the car. A group of guys are leering at her and cracking crude jokes at Michael. Michael ignores them and walks straight toward his mother's place. But when he gets there, the house has been seized by the court. He sits down against the wall, eyes welling up with tears, because he knows he's been abandoned again.
She wasn't home.
We can come back.
She probably moved to a nicer place.
Lee Ann doesn't quite understand what Michael says. When he talks about his mom going to a better place, it's just a gentle way of expressing his worst fear. He knows his mother is deep in her addiction and could be gone at any time. There's an enormous sadness hidden behind those words. Since they couldn't get Michael's clothes back, Lee Ann decides to buy him some, but she's never set foot in this part of town, and she's clutching her purse the entire time.
You're gonna take care of me, right?
I got your back.
After browsing the store, Lee Ann isn't too impressed. There's barely anything in Michael's size.
This is it? This is all you got. Why does it say big and tall on the sign?
Big and tall. You need bigger and taller.
Lee Ann picks out a few outfits for Michael, but he says he doesn't like any of them. Instead, he grabs the cheapest thing on the rack.
That's the one. That's the one you like. Well, all right then.
That evening, she can't help but ask Michael if he's ever thought about staying for good.
Do you want to stay here, Michael?
I don't want to go anyplace else.
Well, all right then.
Lee Ann finds out from his teachers that her husband changed Michael's emergency contact to their family. She can't help but smile at that. She also learns his grades are near the bottom of the state. But in one particular assessment, he scored in the top 2%. Protective instincts. At this point, Lee Ann has no idea that Michael has an extraordinary gift for a certain sport. And that very gift will one day change his life completely. The next day, Lee Ann clears out a room for Michael. She decorates it herself. Everything he could need. Since she can't find a bed frame long enough, she has one custom made. When Michael sees the room, he's completely speechless.
It's mine?
Yes, sir.
Never had one before.
What, a room to yourself?
I bet.
Their eyes meet, but Lee Ann is the first to break.
Yeah, one now.
Because she simply cannot imagine a boy spending over a decade being tossed from one foster home to the next, never once having a bed to call his own. Lee Ann always carries herself like a tough woman, but Michael's story cuts her to the core again and again. Michael may seem clumsy, but he's got a deeply sensitive heart. He hears Lee Ann choking up and wants to go comfort her, but decides to give her some space. And there are others quietly looking out for Michael too. A teacher at school noticed from day one that Michael was different. His test paper was completely blank, but on the back he'd drawn a little boat, and the person in the boat was Michael himself, a symbol of how lost and alone he felt in this unfamiliar world. When the other teachers complained about Michael having learning disabilities, this teacher stood up for him once again, and love and understanding are the light that breaks through it. This teacher was Michael's light. She'd keep him after school and patiently tutor him one-on-one. Michael gradually opened up to her, and his grades slowly started to improve. Inspired by her example, the other teachers followed her lead. They were moved by her pure kindness and set aside their prejudice against Michael, renewing their faith in him. That evening, the family goes out to dinner. When Michael hears that Mr. Toohey owns 85 restaurants, he's not impressed. Instead, he thinks it's a shame.
What are y'all doing with all the leftover food from the restaurant? We have to throw some of it out when it's already cooked. That's too bad. Yeah, I'd rather sell it.
Seems like you could give it away or something. You should check into that, Daddy.
All right, I will, SJ.
Michael's kindness is quietly rubbing off on SJ, and it's precisely that goodness that will lead Lee Ann to make a life-changing decision. As they're about to head home, Michael spots a familiar face. He rushes over to make sure, and the two share a long embrace. On the way home, Lee Ann can't resist asking, "Who was that kid you were hugging?"
How do you know him?
He's my brother.
Well, we'd really like to meet him someday. Would that be okay with you?
I wonder where he stays.
When was the last time you saw him?
I was little, maybe.
After years apart, Michael recognizes his brother in an instant. They share the same mother but different fathers, and the same tragic childhood. Michael craves that family connection. Compared to his brother, he's the lucky one. Living with the two Ohers, Michael focuses on his studies and makes huge progress. He even gets a tryout with the school football team, but as a total beginner, he can't grasp the rules, and he can't even understand the coach's calls.
Shut the blocker. Don't tote him. No. This kid, he acts like he doesn't want to hit anyone.
He's Ferdinand the Bull.
I'm sure he's going to be a player. I can't believe I used up all my chips to get him in school.
I thought you said it was your Christian duty.
He's never been played before.
He was going to play some video games.
Look, everybody at Wingate is expecting you to be a star football player. You don't want to let them down, do you?
SJ is tough on Michael, and Michael never once thinks about quitting. The two grow closer than ever. As Michael becomes more a part of the Toohey family, the gossip starts reaching Lee Ann's ears. At a lunch with friends, the women shamelessly crack jokes about Michael, saying he's like a monster and could eat her husband's restaurants out of business. Lee Ann laughs it off, but these smug women just keep pushing.
What will your daddy say?
Before or after he turns over in his grave, I don't need y'all to approve my choices, but I do ask that you respect them. You have no idea of what this boy's been through.
We didn't, really. I think what you're doing is so great. To open up your home to him, and you're changing that boy's life.
No. He's changing mine.
That's awesome for you, but what about Collins?
What about Collins?
Aren't you worried? I mean, even just a little? He's a boy, a large black boy, sleeping under the same roof.
Shame on you.
Lee Ann has truly changed Michael's life, but she also hasn't fully considered her daughter's feelings. So she sits Collins down and sincerely asks if she's uncomfortable living under the same roof as Michael. But Collins turns out to be far more mature than she expected.
They're stupid kids. Who cares what they say? And don't worry about SJ. He likes all the attention. He introduces Michael as his big brother.
Collins' answer catches her off guard, and it only strengthens her resolve. At school, Collins stumbles upon Michael playing happily with some little girls. It shows her a gentle side of Michael she hadn't seen. When other students are afraid to sit next to Michael, Collins is the first to step up and sit beside him, ignoring the stares.
Quit looking at me like that. I mean, we studied together at home.
That night, Michael goes to Lee Ann and says he wants to get a driver's license. Lee Ann's confused. You don't even have a car. Why do you need a license? But Michael explains he just wants an ID that proves he exists. They go to the local office to look him up, only to find there's no record of Michael in the system at all. So she goes home and talks it over with her husband. They decide to make Michael a legal member of the family. But during the paperwork process, Lee Ann reads through the agency's files and learns for the first time just how tragic Michael's childhood was. He never met his father. All he ever knew was what the principal told him, that his father had abandoned them and passed away. His mother was deep in addiction and had given birth to over a dozen children. With no income, when Michael was just a little boy, they ripped him away from his mother.
So, we would need her permission, right?
No. Michael is a ward of the state. Just apply and get a judge to sign off on it.
So you would just give him away?
without even telling his mother.
As a mother herself, Leigh Ann decides to visit Michael's birth mother. It's the first time she sees this woman, so worn down and frail. When she hears that Leigh Ann wants to adopt Michael, her words are filled with guilt.
He's a runner. Every foster home needs to do. He'd slip out the window at night and would come looking for me. No matter where I was, they would come find me, take care of me.
When Leigh Ann asks about Michael's background and real name, the woman breaks down in tears because Michael's father left them just 1 week after he was born.
This is all you'll always be Michael's mama. Would you like to see him?
No. Not this way. It's Williams. His last name's Williams.
Moved by Leigh Ann's sincerity, she agrees to the adoption. And Leigh Ann holds her hand tightly. True strength isn't about fighting or saving someone. It's about seeing someone's vulnerability and gently lifting them up. With his birth mother's blessing, the two Oher family formally asks Michael if he'd like to become one of them. Michael instinctively looks at Collins, then at SJ beside him.
Kinda thought I already was.
From that day on, Michael has his very first piece of ID. After he passes his driving test, Dad even gives him a pickup truck. Michael excitedly takes SJ out for a ride, but they get into an accident at an intersection. When Leigh Ann arrives, the front of the truck is crushed, and Michael is drowning in guilt.
Michael,
I'm fine, SJ.
Michael,
Go help SJ. I'm so sorry. So sorry.
But SJ only has minor scrapes. The paramedic tells Leigh Ann it's nothing short of a miracle, because when the airbag deployed, in a crash that violent, the passenger should have been seriously hurt. In that split second of danger, it was as if God himself shielded SJ from harm. Leigh Ann is thanking God for the miracle, until she notices Michael's injured right arm, and then it hits her.
Michael, what happened to your arm?
I stopped it.
There was no divine hand. It was Michael who, in that terrifying instant, used his own body to shield SJ from the impact. And this is also Michael's blind side. He has an incredible instinct to protect, but he can never bring himself to hurt anyone. If he wants to make it in football, he's going to have to overcome that. But in practice, he struggles to understand the coach's instructions. That's when Leigh Ann walks onto the field and asks him, if someone were going to hurt your family, would you stop them?
And when you and SJ were in that car wreck, what did you do to the airbag?
Stopped it.
You stopped it. You stopped it. This team is your family, Michael.
You have to protect them from those guys, okay? Tony here's your quarterback, all right? You protect his blind side.
When you look at him, you think of me. How
You have my back, how you have his, okay? Uncle Lumpy here is your tailback. When you look at him, you think of SJ. Now, you never let anyone or anything hurt him. You understand me? All right.
are you going to protect the family, Michael?
Yes, ma'am.
Good boy. Then go have some fun.
With Leigh Ann's guidance, Michael develops quickly and becomes a starter on the team. Soon enough, he gets his shot in a real game. But raw strength alone isn't enough. Without game experience, he gets completely outplayed from the very first snap. He just can't stop the other side's attack.
I got you, boy, all night long. Woo-hoo-hoo! That's my boy. Sorry, Michael.
As the score gap keeps growing, the coach is fuming on the sideline. Michael looks like a kid who can't do anything right, completely lost out there. On the sideline, an opposing player's father gets cockier, screaming insults at Michael. But that crosses a line for Leigh Ann.
I'm a 6'6", kicking that blue gum.
Hey, crotch mouth. Yeah, you zip it or I'll come up there and zip it for you.
On the last play of the first half, Michael gets knocked to the ground. The opponent even kicks his helmet on purpose. The coach protests, but the ref ignores it, so the coach finally loses his cool.
This young man plays for my team, and I will defend him like he's my own son against you or any other son of a...
Don't worry, coach. I got you, babe.
When the second half begins, Michael is a completely different player. He recalls the plays he drilled with his teammates. Leigh Ann's voice keeps echoing in his head. Once the ball is snapped, Michael becomes an absolute beast, completely unstoppable.
Go!
With his breakthrough, Michael leads the team on a scoring run, clawing back the deficit and pulling off a miraculous comeback.
Go! Deliverance! You see number 74? Well, that's my son.
And SJ deserves credit too. He filmed Michael's game highlights, burned them onto DVDs, and mailed them to colleges everywhere. When coaches across the country see the footage, their jaws drop, grinning ear to ear, calling him a once-in-a-lifetime prospect.
What did I tell you?
I want him bad.
The very next day, coaches from top programs all over the country show up at the practice field, all just to see Michael's talent firsthand.
Think we might see some drills?
coaches scramble for their phones, calling their schools to lock him down immediately. They all say the same thing. If Michael's grades are good enough, they'll offer him a full-ride scholarship. To get Michael into the best school possible, Lee Ann actually starts stressing out, because with his current grades, he can't meet the admission requirements. So Lee Ann hires a top-notch tutor. With patient guidance, Michael's grades in every subject come up to standard. He graduates, but now faces a new dilemma. Every day, college coaches come knocking at his door, each one dangling incredible offers, hoping he'll choose their school. Michael already has a school in mind, but Lee Ann is pushing for Ole Miss. She says the people there will be good to him, and it happens to be her and Sean's alma mater. The decision might be a little self-serving, because deep down, she also wants Michael to represent her school. So with his family's encouragement, Michael ultimately commits to Ole Miss. But not long after, an investigator from the NCAA shows up at the Tuahe's door. She suspects that Lee Ann adopted Michael, just to funnel him to her alma mater. She alleges there are shady interests at play behind the scenes, and flatly accuses Lee Ann, saying the adoption wasn't driven by kindness. It was pure self-interest. As the investigator pushes harder, Michael's trust begins to crack.
They clothed you, they fed you, they paid for your private education, they bought you a car, and paid for a tutor, all as part of a plan to ensure that you play football for the University of Mississippi.
Michael snaps. He confronts Lee Ann, demanding to know why she lied to him. After everything they've been through, was it real, or was there always an agenda? Michael storms out of the house, and Lee Ann begins to question herself too. Did she cross a line by taking him in and shaping his future? Did she take over his life instead of helping him build his own? Looking back, she realizes she never really asked what Michael wanted. All these years, every big and small decision was made for him. Michael goes back to his old neighborhood. He prays his mother has come back, but instead, he's met by those same thugs from before. They bring him to their hangout, pretending to care about him, but really, they want Michael to do their dirty work. The ringleader thinks he's got Michael wrapped around his finger. He runs his mouth, making disgusting comments about Collins. Michael tells him to shut up, but the guy flashes the piece on his waistband.
I will teach your big self a lesson, and then drive east and pay a visit to your lovely mom and her sweet little daughter.
A scuffle breaks out. Michael defends himself, but then suddenly freezes. What he sees triggers memories of being torn from his mother as a child. Meanwhile, Lee Ann can't stop worrying. After searching all night, she finally gets a call from Michael.
Michael!
Mama?
She sees right through him. Before he can say a word, she apologizes first.
I know I should have asked you this a long time ago, Michael. Do you even want to play football? I mean, do you even like it?
I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah, you are, Michael, if you're going to accept a football scholarship. We think it should be to Tennessee. And I promise that I will be at every game cheering for you.
Every game?
Every game.
So you want me to go to Tennessee?
I want you to do whatever you want. It is your decision, Michael. It's your life.
Weight lifts off Michael's shoulders. He goes back to the investigator and speaks from the heart.
Why do you want to go to Ole Miss?
Because it's where my family goes to school. It's where they've always gone to school.
And with that, the film comes to a close. Michael was dealt a terrible hand, ripped from his mother as a child, bounced between over a dozen foster homes, labeled a problem kid because of his size and silence. But he was also incredibly lucky. He should have ended up on the streets forever. But Lee Ann's unexpected kindness caught him when he was falling. This towering kid, as timid as a lost cub, found a place full of warmth and light, and felt the meaning of home for the very first time. And this is a true story. The real Michael Oher earned an athletic scholarship to Ole Miss, went on to play in the NFL, earning millions a year. His success was built on the kindness of those around him. He had a powerful body, but also a fatal flaw. Just like the title of the film, The Blind Side, Michael's weakness was once the chain that held him down. The struggle of being barely literate, a silence that no one could read, a black teenager, trapped between class lines and prejudice, never fitting in. All of it was seen as impossible to overcome, but his desperate longing for a family became an impenetrable shield protecting his teammates. His awkward silence hid the purest instinct for recognizing true kindness. It turns out there's no such thing as a real weakness, only gifts that haven't been seen yet, and strength that hasn't been awakened. When we're willing to truly look at what the world calls a flaw, we'll find that every weakness is just a space that life left open, so that love could find its way in.